What's up guys, it's Paraly5er here, and welcome to Mythbusting Part 23. This is the series where I take your myths from the comments and break the game in as many ways as possible. Don't forget to leave your myths in the comments down below. The first myth in today's video has been sent in by Sebastian Oswell, and they ask, Myth, you can one-hit a wolf spider. Now I decided to add a couple of rules of my own to this myth. The first was that it was only me and the wolf spider, no other creatures could be involved. The second was that there was no RNG elements, such as critical hits from coup de grace. The third and final rule was that it has to be the hit that kills the enemy, and it can't die from any effects like bleed or poison afterwards. My first attempt was using the Mount Gong with Liquid Rage, an eye patch, the Entomologist badge, and the Koi armor set bonus. This left the wolf spider with a tiny bit of health, but a little bit is still too much. It's worth noting I tried adding a wolf spider trophy, but this effect doesn't stack with the Mount Gong. They actually replace one another. Next, I decided to try the same thing, but instead of using the Kultana, I went for the Spicy Staff. After activating all the debuffs, I charged up an attack and was able to take out the wolf spider in one single hit, meaning this myth is confirmed, you can kill a wolf spider with only one hit. Our second myth today has been sent in by Sonic, who says, Myth, black ants sizzle in the sandbox and eventually oof. Now for those who don't know, black ants sometimes leave the black ant nest and wander around the sandbox, but if they stay for too long, will they sizzle? I tested this by spawning in a black ant on the sandbox during the day while it was hot. I waited a few minutes, but the black ant was completely fine and unharmed, so this myth is busted. The black ants don't sizzle when in the sandbox. Today's next myth has been sent in by Lithuanian Ant Furry, and they say, Myth, bombs count towards the rock cracker mutation. Let's find out. Previously we've tested this with Grassmaster and it worked, but will it also work for rock cracker? I threw a bomb at some rocks, and when it blew up, it unlocked stage 1 of rock cracker. I also tried it using the bombs on clay, which also worked. So this myth is confirmed, you can unlock rock cracker using bombs instead of a hammer. The next myth in today's episode has been sent in by Pizza Gamer, who says, did you know that in the first 2 seconds of joining a world, the computer has a loading screen? Let's check it out. Here you can see what the screen normally looks like in the game. I reloaded the save, and when I got in, the screen looked different. There's a startup of the computer, and it does actually have to reconnect, meaning this myth is confirmed. The computer does indeed have a loading screen upon reloading your world. Our next myth today has been sent in by Black Widow, who says, Myth, you can use the door glitch to get the pinch whacker. Let's find out. I headed to the secret lab, but the game wouldn't let me build close enough to use the door glitch to get in. I tried it next to the wall, but just ended up getting stuck in the wall. So this myth is busted. You can't use a door to get into the secret lab here, unless there's some weird way of doing it by placing a door somewhere else. Next up today we have a myth that was commented a while ago, but I can't find the comment. My apologies. Myth, can you get a gold card if the bug loot is water damaged? Now this one is a pain to test, but I decided to go for it today. I spawned in 40 black ant eggs and then went to the pond. When they hatched, I looted them all and then reloaded my save, and kept trying. I did this 5 times for a total of 200 bodies and got no gold card. So I'm going to say this is busted. You can't get gold cards from water damaged bug loot, but if anyone has a video to prove me wrong, I'd love to be able to see it. Today's next myth has been sent in by Idiot Plays, who says, Myth, you can save or reload gold cards from ant eggs. Now I've changed this to, you can just get a gold card from an ant egg. I hatched 40 ant eggs on land this time, and then used bomb arrows to take them out. On my very first attempt, I was able to get the black worker ant gold card. So this myth is confirmed, you can get the gold card from hatching ant eggs, which means you can probably also get it from reload saving, as enemies are determined to have the gold card when they spawn now, and spawning is when the egg hatches. The next myth today has been sent in by I Love You Too But, and they ask, Myth, black ants don't get damaged by the green trash smell in the heap, but will they die in the haze? Let's find out. I first spawned a black ant in the gas in the trash can, and as you can see, it didn't take any damage whatsoever, as expected. Next, I tried using gas arrows and super gas arrows on the black ants. Both of these worked, and did damage the ants. Finally, I headed to the haze and spawned in an ant. As you can see, the ant did indeed take damage from this, so this myth is confirmed. They do die in the haze. This is really weird because I thought all the gas effects were the same in Grounded, but I guess the gas from rotten food is different to other gas damage. Maybe that means enemies that are immune to gas aren't immune to the rotten food gas. Our next myth today has been sent in by Banatora, and they say, myth, bugs can't break the Mount Gong. And myth 2, if they can't break it, can you build a base using them? Let's find out. I trapped a ladybug in Mount Gongs and then I hit it. I made it so the ladybug had to hit the gongs, and as you can see, it does in fact damage them, meaning this myth is busted, bugs do damage the gongs, and thus you can't build an indestructible base from them. Next, we have a myth from Xenius, who says, myth, you can stop the small wasp hives from respawning, and therefore also the respawning of the wasps. Let's find out. I headed to the wasp nest in the upper yard and chopped it down, before building all around to try and stop it from respawning. When I came back a few days later, the wasps had respawned, but the hive hadn't. So this myth is busted, as it does stop the hive from respawning, but it doesn't stop the wasps from respawning, unfortunately. So you don't need to do this, because you're just going to lose out on resources. Up next, we have a myth from Tamix, who says, myth, if you put 4 water collectors under a juice box, they fill up equally at once. I decided to try this with 2 water collectors under a juice box. I left them for a while, and when I came back, there was water in one, but not the other. So I'm going to say that this myth is busted in that the juice doesn't duplicate and fill both containers at the same time, but it will fill up all of the water containers, so you can store 4 times as much juice before having to empty it, if that makes sense. Next, we have a follow-up myth from last week, where we tested if we could use meat shield to gain health. And as shown by the comments on the screen, a couple of people said that I didn't do it correctly, as you need to be on much lower health. So let's give it a go. I got myself down to really low health, and then re-equipped my meat shield, which healed me. This is because when equipped, meat shield increases health by 50 points. If your health is below 50 and you have meat shield on, then equipping meat shield again will take you up to 51 health. So this myth is confirmed. You can use meat shield to gain health if and only if you already have meat shield equipped and you are already below 50 HP. Today's next myth has been sent in by Oiskuti. What is that name? And they say, myth, the blaster works with the Moth armor. Let's find out. I equipped a full set of Moth armor, which has 2 effects. The first is ranged cut, which makes it so ranged attacks can bleed enemies. The second is Windrun, which makes it so that when ranged attacks land, it boosts your movement speed. I ran around hitting stuff with the blaster for a bit, but sadly I was unable to get any of the effects of the blaster to proc, despite the jumpstart effect specifically saying it works with ranged attacks, which is what this weapon does, but nonetheless this myth is busted. Moth armor doesn't work with the blaster of the Moldy Matriarch whatsoever. The next myth was sent in by Fantasyam and Jack, and they say, myth, you can't repair the Mant Gong. Let's check it out. I placed down the Mant Gong and then hit it with the spicy staff to damage it. When I use my repair tool on it, it just keeps activating the gong. Then I tried using the handy gnat, which for some reason makes the gnat ascend, but doesn't repair the gong. So this myth is confirmed, it can't be repaired at all. The only way to repair it is to recycle the build and rebuild it. Our penultimate myth today was sent in by GR, who says, myth, similar to the Wendell fall damage thing, sleeping prevents fall damage. Let's check it out. I set up a ramp and tried jumping off and sleeping before I hit the ground, but this didn't work. So instead, I placed the lean-to at the top of the ramp and accessed it before jumping. As I was falling, I slept, and when I awoke, I still had full health. But I decided to try again with low health, and when I awoke, I was healed from sleeping, but took no fall damage at all. So this myth is confirmed. You can sleep while falling, and it will cancel all fall damage. The final myth today has been sent in by Darth Vader, who says, myth, the spicy staff does acid damage. To test this, I made a full set of sleek fire ant armor, and then killed a ladybug, with and without the armor equipped. Without the armor, it took 8 hits to get the ladybug to half health. With the armor, it took 8 hits again to get the ladybug to half health. So this myth is busted. The spicy staff doesn't do acid damage, as it would have done more damage when the fire ant armor was equipped because the armor boosts acid damage. We also know it doesn't do explosive damage, so I guess the staves all do generic damage just like the clubs do. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Mythbusting. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like on it. Comment your myths down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.